Hello and welcome to Sports Pass with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you all the latest news and updates from different sporting arenas. In the next half an hour, we're going to bring you the latest we are tracking for you from Champions League, what's happened at the Ranji Trophy and a lot more. Let's quickly get started with top headlines of the hour. Borussia Dortmund and Atletico Madrid enter Champions League quarter-final. Champions League quarter-final draw to be announced on the 15th of March, Friday. In tennis, American Navarro shocks Australian Open champion Aryna Sabalenka to make it to Indian Wells quarter-final round. Goff celebrates victory along with her birthday on the court. Medvedev too cruises to the quarter-final round. Satvik Chirag, Lakshya Sen, Ashwini Tanisha along with PV Sindhu in action at the All England BWF Super 1000 pre-quarter-final round. So those were the top headlines of the hour that we are tracing for all our viewers and sports lovers here on Sports Pass. Well, in an interesting encounter at the Champions League, Borussia Dortmund and Atletico Madrid both have made it to the quarterfinals round. And now all eyes are on the upcoming Champions League draw that will take place on Friday this week. Our next report tells you more about the latest quarterfinalists. In an interesting race to the quarterfinals round of Champions League, Jadon Sancho's sniper-like goals helped Team Borussia Dortmund to advance into the Champions League quarterfinal with a 2-0 victory against PSV Eindhoven. Dortmund had an effort by Niklas Füllkrug, ruled offside, but Rios did better in a stoppage time after Eindhoven had come close through Luke de Jong. Edin Terzic expressed his happiness on the victory.
Very pleased with progressing. Of course, it wasn't an easy way through the group stage, especially when you look at how we started the Champions League. We could not win the first two games, and of course, we were delighted to still be in the top 8. It is a special evening for us, and we are very happy about that. Thank you very much.
In another clash, Atletico ousted Inter Milan on penalties to reach Champions League quarter-final stage. Jan Oblak saved 2 penalties and Lautaro Martinez blasted his efforts over the bar to send Atletico through 3-2 in the shootout after the match finished 2-1 to the Spanish side after extra time.
We didn't stand a chance against Inter Milan, and I said it is the best thing that can happen to us, because when they see us already out, it is the best moment, because this is when the team reacts. It can be casualty or not, but once again we made it, coming from no one believing, or many people, because all those who came to the stadium today, they believed the whole world time, and it happened. It happened because they gave it their all, performed a great match, and because we have great players.
Both the teams had chances to win in extra time, but in the end, it was Diego Simon's side who held their nerves and last season's beaten finalists exited the competition. All eyes will now be on the draw for the Champions League quarter-finals that will take place on Friday, the 15th of March at the House of European Football in Nyon, Switzerland. Sports Desk, DD India. And now we have with us DD India sports correspondent Narayan Singh joining us from newsroom. Narayan, when we look at the quarterfinalists of the Champions League, aren't they dominated by Spanish teams mostly?
True, if you take a look at the last decade or more, it has been dominated by the Spanish team, especially earlier we saw Barcelona under the Pep Guardiola winning the Champions League, and after that Real Madrid under Zinedine Zidane we saw won 3 consecutive Champions League, and after that we saw when they changed their coach after the departure of Zidane, again they won Champions League. So it's dominance of the Spanish team, especially in the Champions League. But now the way Man City, the clubs like the English club and Liverpool, they have rose to the occasion and they were trying to break that dominance. So this is the beauty of this beautiful game. When a decade comes, when a certain teams dominate, even if you take a look at the English Premier League in 80s, it was all about Liverpool. After that, the era of the Manchester United came, and now the way Man City is dominating, we can say that it's an era of the Man City in the English Premier League. same with the Champions League. We saw different stages where teams from the different countries came and they dominated. In the meanwhile, we also saw Bayern Munich also dominated the European scene. But this time, the question we can say that the English team, Man City, who won the Champions League last season, can they defend that title? It remains to be seen. Last time, they defeated Inter Milan in the final with a score of the 1-0. Now, Inter Milan is out of the tournament after they lost to Atletico Madrid in the second leg of the pre-quarterfinals of the Champions League. First time Inter Milan lost a match. First time they were defeated in this edition of the Champions League. All in all, we can say that the exciting quarterfinals draw is awaiting, and we are hoping that it's going to be exciting, and all the teams of the major teams of the European arena are waiting their fate with bated breath.
And when we talk about big moves, big teams coming up and big teams bowing out also of the Champions League, there is something about Diego Simon, because he's been underrated all the while. But yesterday's performance, and that too against Inter Milan, was something spectacular.
Definitely, if you take a look at the first leg match between the Inter Milan and the Atletico Madrid, Atletico in Italy, and that leg was won by Inter Milan by a score line of 1-0. And yesterday, the way we saw that Inter Milan was playing, they took the lead, and almost they were double their lead with the aggregate score of 2-0. But after that, the way Atletico Madrid played and the way their star striker Antoine Griezmann scored, give a goal to them, and after that, in the second half, Memphis Depay equalized. That was the crucial point of the match, because if you take a look in that sense, in 2021, it's an important aspect of the UEFA Champions League when the UEFA body, the governing body of the European football, scrapped the away goal rule. If it would have been existed still, then on the basis of the away goal rule, because the away goal has more weight, more weightage is given to the away goal. In that sense, the Inter Milan would have progressed to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, because they have scored one away goal, and because of that they would have scored. But because that rule has been scrapped, and because of that we saw the match went into the extra time, and after that it was in the penalty shootout. And the way the Jan Oblak, the goalkeeper of the Atletico Madrid, saved 2 penalties and put the match for the Spanish side, and they were there in the quarterfinals. So it's the beauty of the football. Rules comes, rules changes, and they help few teams, and few teams have to pay for that.
And when we talk about tomorrow's draw, which everybody is eyeing on, the Champions League draw that we are expecting, what are the biggest clashes that we really want to see, Narayan?
Definitely, if you take a look, always it's an exciting thing for the footballs to whom they play. If you take a look at the previous draws, round of 16, where there were certain rules where the teams from the same country, clubs from the same countries cannot be clubbed together. Here, for the knockout, that rule is not there. So the way we have the fantastic team, Real Madrid is there, Barcelona is there, Arsenal is there, PSG is there, and Atletico Madrid is there, and also we can see that many fantastic teams are there. So it's going to be difficult for many teams, because if you take any team who will play against the team like Real Madrid, who is the most successful team in the tournament, and they know the art of winning the Champions League and the big matches. Same with the Bayern Munich and Man City, the way the Man City juggernaut continues in the English Premier League, and here also, and first time they won. We can say that they will try to defend this title, the coveted, the holy grail of the European football, when the final will take place at the in the England Stadium. So we are hoping that exciting clashes for the European, this holy grail of the European football is waiting, and we're hoping few exciting contests, hoping that if the Real Madrid plays against the PSG, and when the Spanish stars will be against the players like Mbappe, it's going to be a mouth-watering for the football fans.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Narayan, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on the interesting clashes that have happened and that we are expecting on Champions League quarterfinals before and post the stage. Moving on, staying on soccer, but Real Madrid winger Brahim Diaz was named in Morocco's squad after deciding to represent the North African team rather than Spain. Diaz was included in Walid Regragoui's 24-man roster for the matches against Angola and Mauritania this month. The 24-year-old represented Spain in one game and scored against Lithuania in 2021. FIFA rules say players can switch international allegiance as long as they have made fewer than 3 appearances for a country before the age of 21 and have not played for that nation for at least 3 years. Former AC Milan winger Diaz has produced fine displays with Real Madrid for this season, scoring 8 goals in 32 games across all competitions. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp said former sporting director Michael Edwards' return to the club as chief executive of football is great news for the club. Edwards worked with the club when Liverpool won the Champions League in 2019 and Premier League title the next year only. Liverpool host Sparta Prague in the second leg of their Europa League last 16 on Thursday with a 5-1 lead, and they would visit Manchester Cup. Klopp said forward Mohamed Salah, who came off the bench after recovering from a hamstring injury, is ready for his first start since February.
A lot of good things happened obviously in the time when we were here together. Then Michael decided to do something else, and now he's back. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. So I said a few times that I want to see the club in the best possible place after I left, stuff like this. So everything we can do, as long as I'm here, I will do. And after that, other people have to do it. And I think it's a top solution, honestly, top solution. And our conversation was obviously great. We spoke about a lot of things, about what I think about different things, players, stuff like this, situation in the club, and because I was in all the time while he was not in. So what did change? What might have to change? These kind of things. So like a really good talk. And how I said, I think it's top news for the club.
In English Premier League, Luton Town squandered a 3-goal lead to lose by 4-3 at Bournemouth. With this defeat, they blew their chances to climb out of the Premier League relegation zone. Now, it looked so good for Luton with first-half goals by Tahith Chong, Shearer Spain and Ross Barkley, putting them in complete control on the south coast. That scoreline would have lifted Luton above Nottingham Forest into the 17th place. But Bournemouth, who were booed off at half-time, were transformed after their interval. Dominic Solanke struck immediately after the break. Cherries were level before the midway point of the second half, and thanks to goals by Ilya Zabarny and Antonio Semenyo. Luton were reeling, and in the 83rd minute, Semenyo scored winner for Bournemouth to stun Luton Town with an unreal comeback. And now let's move on to badminton courts. Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu is currently facing top seed South Korean On Se-young in round of 16 of women's singles category at the All England Open Badminton Championship. Earlier in the match, her German opponent, Won Lee, retired after the completion of the first game itself, giving the former world number 1 an easy victory. In men's doubles category, however, the top seed pair of Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty take on M. Fikri and Bagas Mulana, another Indonesian pair, in the second round. The Indian duo secured a convincing victory over the highly experienced Mohammad Ehsan and Hendra Setiawan. In men's singles category, Lakshay Sen will lock horns with fourth-seeded Anderson Tenson in the next round. The Indian shuttler took a mere 40 minutes to get the better of Danish opponent Magnus Johannesson. Whereas in the women's doubles category, Tanisha Cresto and Ashwini Punappa will battle it out with fifth-seed Chinese pair of Zhang Shuxian and Zheng Yu in the pre-quarters. The Indian pair are looking forward to secure a place at the Paris Olympics. We are moving for a short break, but still to come on DD India Sports Pass. An exclusive conversation with IPL player Prince Chaudhary. And all you need to know about the arrival of Paris Olympic flame in Paris.
Why have the big five powers of the United Nations Security Council seen no change in 8 decades? Who is stalling reform of the world body, and for how long can we wait? Are we truly alone in the universe, or are there aliens who keep playing hide and seek with us? Watch Connecting the Dots to get the full picture every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Sports Buzz with me, Deepika. Moving on to tennis now. American Emma Navarro stunned world number 2 Aryna Sabalenka by 6-2, 3-6 and 6-2 to record the biggest victories of her career and make it to the quarterfinal round of the Indian Wells for the first time. Navarro observed Sabalenka's powerful serve and converted 4 of her 5 breakpoint opportunities to defeat the reigning 2-time Australian Open champion in windy conditions. American third seed Coco Gauff had no issues in progressing to the last 8, dispatching Belgian Elisa Martinez by 6-0 and 6-2. The dynamic American played her best tennis of the tournament so far, serving well and stepping into the court to overwhelm the Belgian 24 seed. Martinez was unable to back up her victory over Naomi Osaka in the previous round, hitting just 4 winners to 21 unforced errors in a match that lasted just over an hour. Holger Rune rallied from a set down and saved a match point to defeat former champion Taylor Fritz by 2-6, 7-6 and 6-3 to make it to the quarterfinal rounds of Indian Wells, where he will next meet 4th-seeded Daniil Medvedev. Rune surrendered the opening set in 32 minutes and looked down for the count when 2022 winner Fritz went up by 5-4 and 40-30 in the next, but the 7th-seeded Dane produced a vital hold before forcing a tie-break. Medvedev outclassed Grigor Dimitrov by 6-4 and 6-4 with a near-flawless display to stay on the course for his first title of the year. Earlier, Casper Ruud ended Frenchman Gael Monfil's run with a 3-6, 7-6 and 6-4 victory and placed Tommy Paul after the American brought Luca Nardi back down to earth. Ruud broke his 37-year-old opponent for a 3-1 lead in the deciding set and cruised to the finish. On to cricket. Mumbai bagged the Ranji Trophy for the record 42nd time when it defeated Vidarbh by 169 runs on the 5th day of the finals in Mumbai on Thursday. Chasing 538 runs to win, Vidarbh needed 290 runs on the last day of the match. Akshay Vadkar and Harsh Dubey added 130 runs for the 6th wicket in the morning session without losing one. But their fall in successive overs drew curtains over its chances of a third first-class crown for Vidarbh. Tanush Kotiyan started with the ball, picking 4 wickets including the centurion Vadkar. Dhaval Kulkarni, who is set to retire after the end of the season, will claim the final wicket and sealed the victory for Mumbai. For Vidarbh, the first innings deficit of 115 was way too much on a surface that wasn't bad for batting. Vadkar and Dubey tried to rewrite history, but eventually the side fell short of the target and Mumbai ultimately won the Ranji Trophy. Staying on cricket, the 17th season of much-awaited India's Premier Cricket League, the IPL, is just round the corner. Teams and players have begun their preparations already in their respective home states. IPL, which is home to dreams and aspirations of many Indian players, has a legacy of its own. One such player is Delhi's leg spinner Prince Chaudhary, who was picked by IPL franchisee Punjab Kings for his base price of $24,100 US. Prince spoke to DD India about his preparations and what it means to play in the cash-rich league.
सर पहले तो जब ऑक्शन से 3 दिन पहले मैं बड़ौदा के लिए निकल गया था अपना टूर्नामेंट खेलने, तो मैं वहाँ पर था तो मेरे पापा मम्मी सबका कॉल आया था। वो कह रहे थे हम सो नहीं पा रहे 2 दिन से। तो मैंने कहा आप टेंशन ना लो, जो होना होगा अच्छा होगा। तो उन्होंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, तू 1 दिन के लिए घर आ जा। तो मैं 19th को घर आ गया था वापस सुबह ही, जिस दिन ऑक्शन था। अपने घर वालों के साथ गया, ऑक्शन देखा और मैं वहाँ पे बार बार चेक भी कर रहा था फ़ोन में कि मेरा नाम आया, अभी तक नहीं आया। बट जब एक्सेलरेशन राउंड स्टार्ट हुआ शाम के 6:30-7 बजे, तब जाके मेरा नाम आया था और पंजाब ने मेरे लिए दाव किया था, तो बहुत अच्छा लगा।
All right, moving on to polo. New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters, who's on a tour to India, arrived at the venue of the Northern India Polo Championship to encourage the players. Now, in the first match of the tournament, Rajasthan Polo Club defeated Vimal Aryan Achievers by a margin of 9-6. Along with Indian players, foreign players are also participating in this tournament. Jindal Panthers Delta Polo will face Rajasthan Polo Club on Thursday. Now, Paris gears up for the arrival of Olympic Flame on the 14th of July. The Flame will stay within the Paris City Hall on the night of the 14th of July when France celebrates Bastille Day ahead of the 2024 Summer Games. It will then travel through the wider Paris region and return to the capital for the opening ceremony, which is scheduled to take place on the 26th of July, concluding a 68-day torch relay in the Games' host country. This story has more details about the ceremony. Take a look.
Paris gears up for the biggest sporting extravaganza. Now it has been made official that the Olympic Flame will stay within the Paris City Hall on the night of July 14 when France celebrates Bastille Day ahead of the 2024 Summer Games. The Flame will be carried across Paris on July 14 and 15.
What I can tell you is that on July 14th, the Olympic Flame will arrive in Paris. It will travel through a very beautiful route and it will be in Paris on the 14th and the 15th. On July 14th, it will sleep in the Paris City Hall.
It will then travel through the wider Paris region and return to the capital for the opening ceremony on July 26, concluding a 68-day torch relay in the Games' host country.
It will of course be protected, but it will sleep here. And I'm very, very proud of it. We are looking into where exactly it can sleep peacefully and not be extinguished.
The Flame will be lit on April 16 in ancient Olympia, birthplace of the Games. In a traditional ceremony, actress Mary Meena, playing the High Priestess for the first time, will use a parabolic mirror and the sun's rays to ignite the torch. After the traditional lighting ceremony, Meena will then pass the flame to the first torch bearer, Olympic rowing champion Stefanos Douskis, at the edge of the ancient Olympic Stadium for the start of an 11-day Greek relay. The flame will then be handed over to Paris Games organizers in Athens on April 26, before spending a night at the French embassy in the Greek capital and then departing the next day for France on board a 3-masted ship, the Baleine. The flame is set to arrive in France on May 8 in Marseille.
Now, Greece looks to revamp the traditional Olympic flame lighting ceremony. Next month's Paris 2024 flame lighting ceremony in ancient Olympia will also showcase a new high priestess, redesigned costumes and fresh music. The flame will be lit on the 16th of April in ancient Olympia, which is the birthplace of the Games. In a traditional ceremony, actress Aryna, playing the highest priestess for the first time, will use a parabolic mirror and the sun's rays to ignite the torch. In the ceremony's presentation on Tuesday, she thanked the Hellenic Olympic Committee and said that it was a great honor and that she hoped to prove worthy of their trust. And with this, it's a wrap here on Sports Buzz for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.